Alright, welcome back to a new video. Today, we're going to talk about a neuro-linguistic programming exercise called the Anchoring Method. It is one of the most powerful NLP exercises that I ever came across. And I taught it and worked on it with several of my clients, and it was exceptional. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you what the anchoring method is and how you can use it effectively to stimulate an empowered emotional state and regulate the way you feel and the way you act, all the way to the results that you're getting in your daily life. So let's get to it. The anchoring method is a simple yet effective NLP method that you can use to link a certain emotional state or internal state to an external stimulus. Now, let me give you an example. Do you remember maybe a while back you were walking in a mall or in the street and you walked past someone and you took a little whiff of their perfume, and they were wearing the exact same perfume of a person you knew years back? And as soon as you smelled the perfume, this automatically generated certain emotions and it brought back some memories. Or another example, you're in an elevator, all right? You're at the mall, you're going up in the elevator, and they're playing the song that you used to listen to when you were a kid, going on a road trip with your family or during a vacation. And as soon as you heard the melody and the song and the words, that stimulated a certain emotional response, whether it's positive, if it's related to positive memory, or if it's related, for example, if it's a song that you had with your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend, then it would probably generate more negative emotions, right? Now let's suppose the song actually brings out a lot of positive emotions. Well, what if you start listening to it more often? Well, you're going to feel positive because it is associated and anchored with positive and empowering emotions. The thing is, this is the process of anchoring. But in the examples I gave you, the process of anchoring happens subconsciously. You were not aware of the anchoring taking place, but it took place subconsciously, and then it got stimulated externally by a certain stimulus that you experienced at one point or another. Now you can use the anchoring method consciously. So imagine you're stimulating a certain emotional state, and then you link it to song, to perfume, to gesture. We're going to talk more about those. But you link it to that, and then every time you consciously expose yourself to this stimulus, you end up generating the emotional state that you were in when you exposed yourself to the stimulus in the first place. That's exactly what anchoring is. It is the conscious process of linking a certain emotional or mental state, linking this to an external and very distinct stimulus that you can use to get back into that emotional or mental state. So now, let's talk about how you can consciously use the NLP anchoring method. But before we dive into it, I wanted to let you guys know that if you are interested in knowing more about neuro-linguistic programming in general, if you're interested in personal development and transformation, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, as I'm going to be sharing in the next couple weeks several other NLP methods that you can use in your daily life to transform your feelings, your actions, and your results. I'm going to be talking about the circle of excellence, the 6 steps of reframing, dissociation, and many more. So make sure you subscribe and you hit that little bell if you want to watch more effective NLP videos. That being said, let's talk about how you can effectively use the NLP method of anchoring. All right? Now, it all starts with you identifying a certain emotional, mental, or internal state that you're lacking, all right? Maybe you're not feeling enough gratitude in your life. Maybe you're not feeling enough love in your life, affection, whatever emotional or mental state that you feel is lacking in your life, you want to start there. And now ask yourself, what is the complete opposite emotional state that you want to stimulate? Alright? So if you feel ungrateful most of the time, the opposite is, well, generating emotions and feelings of gratitude. If you're feeling hate towards yourself or rejection towards yourself, the opposite would be to generate emotions of love and acceptance. If you're always experiencing a poverty mindset and poverty feelings and emotions and mental state, you want to associate the complete opposite, which is a wealth and abundance mental state and emotional state. Alright? So first thing you do is you identify the internal state that you want to anchor. Alright? Now that you did that, I want you to write down a little list. What can you think of? What can you do that would generate that emotional state? What can you do to generate emotions or mental state linked to gratitude? What can you do to generate kind of habits, maybe exercises, things you think about, alright? What kind of exercises? What can you think of? What can you do to generate emotions linked to love and acceptance? Same thing goes for generating emotions and feelings linked to wealth and abundance. You want to write down a list, alright? It can be a song. It can be a memory that you can close your eyes and think about. It can be writing down a list of things you're grateful for. It can be a certain habit that you do and you just feel amazing afterwards. It can be anything, alright? I want you to brainstorm because this is a very important part. You need to brainstorm what you can do to generate that internal, emotional, and mental state that you are seeking. Now that you identified the internal or emotional state that you want to anchor, and you figured out what you can do to stimulate or generate this internal emotional state, you want to pick an anchor. Now the anchor needs to be very specific and very distinct. Alright? There are different things you can use as anchors. You can use a certain perfume or fragrance that's distinct, that you've never smelled before, that's not linked to any emotional or mental state from the past. You want a new fragrance or new perfume that you use specifically for anchoring. Alright? It can be a song. You can start looking online for new songs and pick a song that you like and that generates the internal state you're looking for, and then use that song specifically and only when you are trying to generate that internal state again. The anchor can also be a certain gesture, alright? Give you some examples. Let's say you cross your fingers together and you squeeze. And when you do that, this is the anchor you're picking. I'm going to tell you how you associate it. For now, pick an anchor, one or two that you feel comfortable with. So this is one. One of my favorites is there's this little sweet spot here in your shoulder, and the anchor could be to take 2 fingers and apply some pressure in this area, specifically the soft area on your shoulder. Right? It can be anything. Anything that you can associate with one of your 5 senses. It needs to be distinct and specific. Alright? So now you picked an internal or emotional state, you figured out how you can stimulate that internal state, and you also picked an anchor that you're going to link to the emotional state. Now we start with the anchoring process. You're going to sit down in your room or anywhere where you will not be disturbed. You will start doing and engaging. You start with the list of things that can bring out those emotions. So you play a song that generates those emotions and feelings you're looking for. Maybe you close your eyes and you start thinking about 2 or 3 memories that really remind you of those emotions. If it's gratitude, think about some moments in your life that you're really grateful for. If it's love and acceptance, think about some moments where you felt that you love yourself so much, or that you felt certain love and affection towards somebody else, as long as, of course, positive memories that are reinforcing the positive mental state and emotions you're looking for. And as you go through 1, 2, 3 exercises, you want to be aware of your emotional state. And as you notice your emotional state getting more and more intense, more and more positive, there's gonna be a point where your emotional state is gonna reach a peak, all right? You feel the emotions building up, and at one point you're like, oh my God, this is overwhelming, this is amazing. You feel so good, all right? You feel this peak. And as soon as you reach this peak, you wanna introduce the anchor. And that's very important, that you introduce the anchor when you reach an emotional peak. You're filling yourself up with emotions of love and acceptance, of wealth and abundance, of gratitude. And as soon as you reach this peak and you just feel amazing, you introduce an anchor, or you smell fragrance, or you play your favorite song, the song that you want to associate, or you do the hand gesture, you cross your fingers, maybe even put your hand on your heart and feel your heart. Whatever the anchor is, you're gonna make sure that you introduce it as soon as you reach that emotional peak, all right? Now that you did that, you wanna repeat this process maybe a couple times, a few times, all right? The beauty about anchoring is that it works quickly. It's not something that you need to do for years until you start seeing results. After 2-3 sessions, the anchor is established and you can access it at any point. As soon as you are exposed to the anchor, the emotional state is back. The mental state is back. It might not be as intense as it was when you were doing the anchoring. However, it's gonna be there and you're gonna notice the difference. Now, as soon as you're done, you reach the emotional peak, you introduce the anchor 2-3 times, you wanna wait, all right? Wait maybe 5-6 hours, wait an entire day, and then the next day, for example, what you do is you only introduce the anchor, all right? Wake up the next day, as you're going through your day, you do the anchor, right? You do the anchor. And one thing to keep in mind is that when you're building the anchor, when you reach that emotional peak and you introduce the external stimulus, you want to consciously associate the emotional state you're feeling with the anchor. So now next day you want to test it out and make sure that you did it effectively. You introduce the anchor with your shoulder, crossing your fingers, smelling a fragrance, playing a song, and you become aware of your emotional state. If you feel that you brought out the emotional state you're looking for, congratulations. You established an anchor. And now that you did, you can do that process again and again and again, and basically link different external stimuluses in your life to different emotional states, positive emotional states and mental states that you want to experience in your life, as opposed to other negative emotional or mental states. And that's it. That's the way to use the NLP anchoring method effectively. And again, if you guys are interested in learning more about personal development or NLP techniques that I mentioned before, make sure you subscribe, hit that little bell so you can get notified when I upload my next video in the next couple days to learn more about NLP. And if there's a specific topic that you want me to cover, go down to the comment section below and let me know. And lastly, if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, and I'll see you all in the next video.